Hello, welcome. This is umbraCoffee 53. I think we've officially made it past our 1 year mark.
Yeah, that's amazing, and as you've noticed probably because by the title of the episode, it's almost December.
Yeah.
I didn't notice, I don't know when it happened. It's
This
not possible,
year's
right?
flown by so quickly. I even saw something on Twitter. Someone posted a picture of a Christmas tree with an Umbraco bauble on it already.
Yeah.
Too early.
Do you feel the Christmas atmosphere already?
Not at all.
Me too. I to be honest, I totally forgot that this is the end of month, and so many things are happening. We are all, of course, busy as usual, but the busy is not the bad word in this case. But we have a lot of things to do. And Callum, you've been also busy.
Oh yes.
In travels, you are not in the office. What are you doing? Where are you? You are already back in London?
I'm actually back in London temporarily for a few hours, but I was in Dublin yesterday, and I spoke at the first ever Umbraco Dublin Meetup, which was awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to shoot out to Alan, who started the group, and big high five, Alan, for doing it. We've mentioned it a couple of times in the past that we've been involved in some discussions about ideas of meetups, etc. And I remember Alan in Poland on our festival saying that maybe that's the correct time to start a meetup. And how was it? How many people turned out?
Oh, it was really fantastic. There was a really good turnout as well for a first meetup, I would say. We had maybe 10 or 15 people there, I think, with quite a few Umbraco newbies too. People that had never used Umbraco, any other than just developers. A lot of people that were just generally inquisitive, which was nice. I did a kind of run through of the CMS and also some of the technical side of things. And then we also had Dave from Glasgow came over, and he did an intro to the state of e-commerce in Umbraco, which was nice. So covering T-commerce, U-commerce, Macello, gave a few demos of that. And then we all went to a pub afterwards, as the Irish like to drink. So
yeah, this part is something what I'm the most jealous of, because I always wanted to go to Dublin and try the Guinness straight from there. So it's still on the to-do list. And you probably announced that you are doing umbraCoffee or something like that, because we have some viewers from Dublin right now.
Yes, so I think it was mentioned a couple of times about umbraCoffee. So a few people said they would tune in. I spoke to Alan, and Alan will join us one day as well. So we'll maybe get some insight into the Umbraco community in Ireland as a whole. And it's a really growing community. There's a lot of potential there. It's been untapped. So we hope that that can continue to grow, and then we'll have even more Irish umbraCoffee viewers.
That's very nice. But not only you are traveling a lot lately, right? We've seen that Umbraco HQ is on the road constantly.
and this week.
Yes. So we've seen some insights from the visits in new and old gold partners in the UK, right? And that's pretty good to see that there are some kind of new companies joining the gold partners circle, or it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's awesome for the product. And I'm more than sure that it will cause the Umbraco become better every time when the new partner is joining the family, right?
Definitely. And this, I think, was Mike, who's just joined the UK's partner manager. I think this was his first tour, so he's gone around and met with a few existing great gold partners like Method 4 in Cardiff, but then also Cold Banana Studio, who actually host the Dorset Meetup too.
They have this fancy room with the steps and boxes, right?
They do. They have a Method 4 are the ones with that cool room. Yeah, Cold Banana Studio have a very cool place as well. They had, when I went there, they had a game that you could control by lifting bananas up.
Okay.
Wires attached, and crazy.
Okay, that's really crazy. But I also spoke with Mike during the UK festival, and he was really really keen on meeting those new partners and old partners as well. So that's great. That's great to see that it's happening all the time. And if we can go to the discussion about the product, you've observed that Umbraco 7.13 is marked as 100% complete, right?
Yeah, but I know we know from the past that this is not necessarily meaning that it's actually complete. It just means that the list of tasks that are on there are complete, and it now has a target release date of December the 11th. That's before Christmas. I wouldn't want to say that that's going to definitely happen, but of course, it looks likely. They've been talking about 7.13 for quite a while. It's a community-driven release. If it doesn't come out probably on December 11th, I would have guessed it will come out early in the new year.
Yeah, but it would be a great Christmas gift, right? For everyone. And I just see that there is a new order and new titles for all the issues coming from the GitHub, probably, right?
Yeah, from GitHub.
It's getting more consistent right now, in my opinion, and it looks pretty clear. And there it's a really long list of issues being fixed and features added, breaking changes, changes coming. Nice.
And like we said, this is almost all driven by the community, which is really cool.
That's really amazing, and it drives us to the really nice change to another topic of our list today, because it's about the community visits in the HQ last week. We had the pleasure to be joined by them during the umbraCoffee on last Friday. If you haven't seen it, just visit our YouTube channel and check it out. And there is a blog post which was released today.
Yeah, it came out today.
Today, and it just describes more details about the visits, about the teams, about everything what happened there, and that's a really great write-up after the amazing time of those teams in the HQ, right?
Definitely. It's as we got a bit of insight into what they were working on last week, discussing how to improve the whole PR and contribution process as a whole. So that's great. But now we've got it in a blog form as well, so even better.
Yeah, and Callum, speaking about community, one of the well-known umbraco community members, Lee Kelleher, wrote another blog post about some history behind the name of packages and community contributions.
Last June, or maybe earlier than that, I started a question on Twitter that was just saying, "Hey,
why?
why is this our.umbraco? Why does it exist?" My assumption was that it was community driven and that this is owned by the community for the community, but I didn't really know the origins of it. And I asked, and Lee gave a brief explanation, but said at some point he'll blog about it. And I think that day has come. So we've got a really nice explanation of the history behind all of this our.umbraco naming convention. And the one thing I did say on Twitter was I really wish that there was some kind of standard or recommended approach from HQ or even just the community. So maybe a perfect pull request to the documentation to say, you might want to consider using a namespace like this when you're going to create a package or a plugin.
Bodenko is also cool. It sounds kind of a little bit like Polish name, by the way. But yeah, that's something what was discussed a lot of times, because we've tried to even create a kind of template of package, right? Some kind of shelf which can be used as a generator for community-driven packages.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's something what's definitely worth of being picked up and considered.
Absolutely.
I'm looking on the long list of my tabs opened, and we have another great community member to be highlighted today, right?
Oh, yeah. So I think you're referring to Dave.
Yes.
So Dave tweeted earlier in the week, "Oh, I'm so close to my the 10,000 karma points club," and he officially hit it. He's now on, when I checked, 10,037. Yes. Well done, Dave. So Dave's
well done. And you know, usually when you're tweeting something like that on, I don't know, in terms of Twitter followers or Instagram followers, people are just stop following you because they're too jealous or something like that. You know, no, you won't pass this mark. But here, you, it's well deserved, and yeah, that's a great club to be in, right? 10,000.
Very well deserved. And it ties in nicely with his release this week. So he did an update to Nexu.
Exactly, which is another topic which we want to discuss. Once again, I'm constantly looking for a perfect case to use this package on some of the projects being worked on, and yeah, it's getting better and better with each release. And yeah, new version is there, ready
I've
to
not
be
seen what's
tested.
changed in this release, but I'm sure it's some cool things.
Yep, it's on GitHub, so we can probably check it out.
Ooh.
If my Chrome will load up correctly. Yeah, so 3 days ago, fixed archetype parsing and bug with pre-values. Cool. Yeah, well done, Dave. Another karma points are coming, right?
Yeah. Give him some high fives and some upvotes for that package because it's really awesome.
Yeah, that's a great contribution, but we are always also mentioning that the contribution to the project and community can be done on various ways.
Mm.
And once again, Pete Tankenson, right, started some kind of great thread on Twitter, and it was I can probably share. You can tell more about this thread. Meanwhile, I will.
Yeah, so there's been kind of a never-ending discussion in the community that hides for a bit and then resurfaces every few months, just about how we make package development sustainable and how we can maybe fund these creators in doing even more cool stuff. And in this case, this was a thread from the Swift on Security account, which is a really good account to follow, actually. It's very funny tweets, but also some quite thought-provoking things. Yep. Just saying about how for a corporation, contributing $25 a month is not really doable, but paying a one-time license fee or even a yearly license fee of a much bigger amount is far easier. And it ties in nicely with some of the way that the Umbraco community have been doing stuff, because Patreon pages is often one of the ways used by people like Lee Kelleher, or even Dave has a Patreon. But maybe they're not as easy or as accessible for customers to use. I know there was a complaint about Patreon not issuing invoices.
Yeah. And also there were a point of a goodwill license, which is kept and used by Kevin Jump, for example, for his packages, and we've seen, for example, Paul also raising this topic and becoming a goodwill license buyer. There is a lot of topics about. I recently listened to the book, the latest book by the Jason Fried and David Hanson. Heinemann Hensel from the Basecamp, and they also mentioning tough decisions about the products and packages and things they've done in the past to make it all efficient and profitable for the company and for the creators at all. So that's amazing topic, and I think that's everyone can share their thoughts because usually we are just consumers, and it's easy to consume something what is free, and it's not easy to pay for something what brings you benefits and money, of course.
I think here as well, there's an element of there's not going to be a perfect solution, or it's unlikely there'll be a perfect solution. For the one-man band shops, they can't probably justify a $1,500 a year license fee for something, but then the bigger companies could. However, these smaller people might be willing to contribute a few dollars a month, or this goodwill license model, like you say, Marcin, that Kevin uses. So I don't know. It would almost be nice to pull some of these different methods together, perhaps as a blog post or a discussion on our, and people can discuss how we can maybe make them better or do something. There was some discussion about the upcoming app store, which Umbraco HQ are going to be launching on umbraco.com, and it's more of a place to feature community or Umbraco projects, such as things for like pay packages or even for free ones, and then maybe there's an angle in there where some donation kind of functionality could be built in. I'm not sure. I know right now it's just going to be more of a directory of links to these things, so we'll have to see. But it's definitely a discussion that needs to be had, and we need to hear from a lot of different angles on it, I think, because everyone's got an opinion.
Yeah, I think that Twitter was often used for just gathering some kind of opinions, right? And not only about the products, the decisions, and not only from the Umbraco HQ perspective. We also during this week we've seen an Owens poll, right, about the name for the Umbraco users or people who are working with Umbraco, and that's always good to just ask a question and hear the voice of people and if someone is not using Twitter yet, while being an Umbraco community member, it's definitely worth of using it and following Umbraco hashtag, because as you might notice also during our live streams, we are referring a lot to Twitter discussions and Twitter tweets at all. So that's good to see that it's happening there, and everyone's voice is important here. And as you can see, I voted that I like it. Here, yeah. So
yeah, and this was something that was brought up as kind of a discussion that we spoke about at the UK Fest, and Owen was on a panel about it. There's been discussion on Hour. I think he created a thread about it, and then one of his colleagues also went away and created the thread too. Then this week at his Edinburgh meetup, they had a further discussion about it, and it seems like they were pretty. They went pretty in depth because there were some updates to the thread afterwards. But you've got quite a few interesting people here. There's Barry O'Kane. You've got Emma Burstow, who came all the way up from London.
Yeah.
You've got a few different people. So I reckon that conversation was really nice and well-rounded. Just about how they can make people more included in the community. I know that Emma is a big champion of trying to make sure that we're more diverse, and
yeah, it's great to see that those talks are happening across the community. And as we've jumped to the meetups topics, I've also had an open the picture of you from yesterday's meetup, and we had a lot of meetups, and we still have a lot of meetups coming ahead, right?
It's insane. If you can see Marcin's screen right now, half of the tabs we have open,
yes,
are meetups.
Yep. So, and we have 5 minutes to scan through them according to our original agenda. So yeah, we had a Dublin meetup yesterday, Edinburgh meetup. We had a Ladies of Code meetup where also Emma was giving a talk, and even I've shared some kind of tweet saying that Emma is on tour following your Callum initiative of being everywhere where it's possible. So that's cool to see, and yeah, Emma have a great talk and great topic to be shared. And if any other Umbraco meetup organizer is listening right now, feel free to invite speakers like Emma, and not only to your events, because this knowledge definitely should be shared across the global community, not only in local meetups. What else did we have? We had Dutch meetup as well.
Dutch meetup. I think this is the first meetup I've seen where there's been like a Flickr account posted afterwards, but it looks really cool. Maybe more people should be doing this. Yeah,
that's cool. I didn't see that. So yeah, that's good to see. The Dutch meetup. And what else?
Belgian meetup.
Belgium. Yep. Driven by Damian, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly. Yep.
Yeah. There's a reply on this tweet that says one beginner, 1 PM, 4 backend devs. And I replied to this, sounds like the start to a joke.
But also it sounds like a perfect Umbraco team to work on some amazing projects. But yeah, it also proves that it doesn't matter how big meetups are, right? It can be only 2 or 3 people as it was in the past when I was organizing a Polish meetups. It's just a way to spend some great time together and discuss what's going on in the Umbraco community and learn new stuff. And Barcelona meetup happened 2 days ago.
I didn't see too much about this, but it did happen. Apparently, it happened on Wednesday, according to Meetup.com. And I know they were talking about rebooting this for a while, so I hope that went well. If anyone has any information on what went on, then update us somehow.
Yep. And something big, right?
I think this is probably the bigger thing that was released about meetups this week. Yeah. I know it was something Niels and I spoke about when I was in Sweden, that this was all starting to maybe kick off in Nepal. I didn't know there was any people in Nepal doing Umbraco, but it's really cool to see that there is, and that they're getting a community together. I saw on Twitter today, Simona, who we've had on before, said there is officially now more meetups in Nepal than there are in Italy.
That's interesting. And Callum, of course, you are speaking on the first one, right?
Of course.
Yeah, I was joking about it because we know that you are pretty you are traveling a lot across the meetups, and that's amazing. And just tell for all of our community here how many talks you did in the past year.
As of yesterday, I've done 25 talks across 14 countries this year.
Oh man,
and it's too many. Never again.
it's never too many. It's amazing, It's as we've mentioned a lot in the past, that it's important to share the knowledge, and you have a lot of things to share. That's amazing that you've accomplished this goal, and big high five from me and from everyone here for doing that. I did only 12 talks compared to your result, but that's amazing. That's amazing. And another meetups on my tab list. We've mentioned it in the last week. The celebration of the era with Duck Robber.
Yes.
It's happening in London on December 3rd.
Yep, that's Monday.
That's a Monday. Yeah, that's already December, right?
Coming around so quickly.
Okay, and we have I had the Glasgow meetup, and Carol is looking for some speakers, remote and on-site. So if you are able to share anything, feel free to reach out and shoot out on Twitter, probably. Yeah. And there's a hackathon happening, right?
Oh yes,
and
so
in Bristol.
I reached out earlier in the week saying we've been looking to do a V8 hackathon, another V8 hackathon. The end of this year. Historically, we were doing those the last Friday of every month, and we've had not only a busy November, but we also had the Umbraco UK Fest hackathon, so we didn't plan to do one. I asked if anyone in Bristol would be up for coming down to London to do that, or even maybe we could get one going in Bristol, and the lovely Steve stepped up to this and said, yeah, maybe we can host something, and he's had a dream for a while of hosting Umbraco Code Boat, so coding on a boat, and so we're hosting a meetup on a boat in Bristol on December the 14th. And I've decided from here on that December the 14th is going to be called Umbrismas. They've got the hackathon in the day, and then in the evening, as Jonathan's posted below, they have their Christmas party, which is just some drinks and some food. Yeah, so
I know what the theme song would be on this boat. Just referring to what happened in the audience more than once.
Yes, I have posted that video on Twitter somewhere. That should be a good one, and we're gonna open it up to everyone. So there'll be, just like with all the other V8 hackathons, there'll be a remote Zoom you can join in. We'll try and get some satellite hackathons going. So if Poland want to run one, and if we want to run one up in London as well, we'll do those all simultaneously. Hopefully get a bit out of the day. It's a great way to just learn about V8. And I know that it would be really good to get the Bristol community involved in these hackathons as well, because there's a lot of people there that are very, very talented and passionate, including like Lee Kelleher, Steve Temple, Jonathan Richards, load of different people.
Yeah, and they've shared also some pictures from the wine tasting, right?
Yeah, they did,
which is
last year, I think.
I don't know where I have it open, but that's another amazing idea of having the
Jonathan's tweet between the two meetup pages, kind of 4 tabs along. So yeah, it was last year, I think it was. They did a wine tasting, and it was quite a drunken affair, I believe. A lot of people.
That's a great community there, and definitely it will be amazing to see this hackathon and the results of it coming after the December 14th. And
we'll do a number of coffee from there as well.
Yeah, that's a great, and of course we will share the progress and everything else around it, and we can wrap up with some kind of gossip, maybe. I don't know if you've seen it, but I don't know if Niels personally or someone from the Umbraco team is going to the Vue.js Amsterdam conference, and Richard Soteman asked the question if V8 will be Vue.js then, because
V9.
Yeah, the V9, sorry. The puzzles are, coming together. Someone mentioned that in the past that rewrite it in the Vue.js because it's lighter and maybe more convenient and latest JS framework on the market or something like that. And interesting, I've seen the lineup of the conference. That's really great. And obviously we've been using Vue.js in some of the projects, and it's really cool. It's really great. So that's, if anyone from Amsterdam or Netherlands are watching us and wants to join Niels or someone from the Umbraco HQ on this conference, yeah, that's a great idea and great opportunity to meet outside of the Umbraco ecosystem and Umbraco events.
Definitely. You mentioned that this was a bit gossipy, and I agree. I mean, of course, everyone's going to speculate that this is V8 or V9, and they want to do it. And I'm sure Niels is inquisitive around maybe replacing Angular. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was also just related to getting headless and working out different ways you can use different tech with headless. But I'd be interested to maybe keep an eye on Niels's tweets throughout the day and see if there's any clues we can get out of there as well.
Yeah, and of course that's why I was joking about it, because it's not always about Umbraco, and Umbraco is definitely stepping beyond the product itself with headless and everything else. So that's good to see, and that's great to look forward to see what's combined together can give as a result for us as developers, companies, and just community members.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's all what we've prepared for this week, right?
Yeah, I think that's it. Although I did want to bring attention to your amazing T-shirt, Marcin.
Yeah, I just want to mention that I'm delivering right now everything with regex. And
I love that T-shirt. That's so cool.
Yeah, thanks. Cool. So let's get back to another responsibilities. And thank you all for being with us today. And it won't be a surprise that we can see each other next week.
Next week, yes.
In December. Already. And what's starting in December?
Yeah, December does mean we have the 24 days in Umbraco Advent calendar opening, and I guess that will be tomorrow.
Yeah, the first post is coming tomorrow. The idea is, of course, similar to other Advent calendars. One post during the day. We can speculate what will be happening, what will be released. It's always a surprise, even for the authors, right? Because the authors don't know at what day their work will be released.
No.
And yeah, it's always a big source of knowledge related with Umbraco, and not only because last years we've been seeing more posts around Umbraco, not only related with the development inside of the product. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, and every day should be probably started from reading the 24 days article.
Definitely.
It will be an amazing month.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, see you all next Friday, and cheers.
Have an awesome weekend.
Yeah.